the hot Steelers offensive coordinator search rumor. And I got this, and this is not a report. This is not someone that said this is a fact. This is just a rumor. Package deal on the offensive coordinator they hire. You get 2 guys for 1. Arthur Smith right now isn't taking interviews yet. He's taking a brief sabbatical. It's not like the Cliff Kingsbury, I'm going to go to Thailand on a one-way ticket. He's just taking some time. Then he's going to get interviewed. Diana Rossini said yesterday more than 7 teams want to talk to Arthur Smith about being an offensive coordinator. Donnie, how many teams have offensive coordinator openings?
8.
Thanks, Diana.
Yeah.
Couldn't you just say every team is interested in him? Why does she have to say more than 7?
I don't know. But Donnie and I sniffed that out right away. So the Steelers have to be one of the teams. Everything I've heard makes me think that is true. The guy's Smith has connections to Dick LeBeau and guys like that.
Well, here's
people
another
that Art
thing.
Rooney would know.
His best time as offensive coordinator, what kind of offense did the Titans run?
They ran it with Derrick Henry.
And then they ran play action with Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, so you're right. Another thing that is almost like a cultural fit here in Pittsburgh. Here's the thing, because Donnie and I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Donnie said, Arthur Smith doesn't really knock me off my feet. The guy went, what was his record in Atlanta every year?
7-10, and they had the 8th overall pick all 3 years.
And Arthur Smith, when they took Bijan Robinson, had like some sort of religious opposition to actually giving him the football.
Yeah,
Not great.
Inexplicably would not give the football to his best player,
Absolutely
nor have him
not
on
great.
the field.
Here's the package deal, though. Munchak wants back in.
Oh, well,
he's ready to come back to coaching.
You've got to be all over this one, hot and bothered like no one's business.
So here's the rumor. Those 2 guys worked with each other in Nashville. There's mutual respect. Smith is the offensive coordinator. Munchak back as offensive line coach. Does that tip the scales back to Smith in a debate about offensive coordinator hires? Because we've got serious questions about the offensive line. You've got Broderick Jones, who you want to turn into a star.
Who needs to go back to his original position.
We've seen Munchak work his magic with Al Villanueva, made him into a legitimate NFL left tackle.
Could do the same with Darnell Washington.
I didn't even think about that, but good point.
Jeff Hathorn wrote it for 937thefan.com, said their right tackle is on their roster already. They just don't know it.
Look at guys like Matt Filer. Turned him into an NFL offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the money he got, dudes like Calvin Beachum and Chris Hubbard from other teams who were down the line.
He's one of the best. You can just summarize it
Simply the best, better than all the rest, Tina Turner said, and she was talking about Mike Munchak that day.
I thought it was Bill Callahan or Dante Scarnecchio, because those are the holy trinity of O-line coaches that always got mentioned as the best. Callahan's up there. We know what he's done with the Browns on their 18th
Donnie?
tackle. Donnie, before you answer, I'm very much yes to one part of this, hell no to the other. The idea of Arthur Smith coming in with his reputation, because people in Tennessee said when he was running the show there, yeah, they gave the ball to Henry a lot, but then they also ignored their best receiving weapons half the time, it felt like. They just did not get the sense that Arthur Smith understood.
I don't think they had good receiving weapons.
These are my best
there.
players.
Well, he understood that Derrick Henry was his best player.
Yeah, I think I could go down there and say we're going to call a lot of plays for this guy, but that
he got the best out of Ryan Tannehill, Chris.
Okay.
There's no doubt about that.
Did he get the best out of Ritter?
I mean, do you think anybody can get the best out of Ritter?
Well, here's the point about Ryan Tannehill. You can make an argument that Ryan Tannehill was a pretty good player that Adam Gase ruined.
Yeah.
Because the guy was drafted top, 10th overall maybe?
He was a top 10 pick, yeah.
Right.
He was rehabilitated by Smith.
But I think there was obviously big natural talent in there to actually mine.
Well, put his resume up against Cliff Kingsbury's, for example. What's more impressive?
Kingsbury is not an overwhelming candidate by any stretch of the imagination. I'll re-rank my current top group here right now. Ready? Still Zach Robinson, even with the Munchak package deal. Then I guess it's Arthur Smith, mainly because of Munchak, not because I particularly care for Arthur Smith. And then it's Kingsbury. That's my current top 3.
Arthur Smith skyrockets to number 1 for me if I'm getting Munchak in
That's
the deal.
because you're a Munchak honk.
I'm fine with that. Guilty as charged.
Wear your big I Heart Munchak shirt.
Donnie?
I don't know if I put Arthur Smith at number 1 because of that, but he definitely moves up if that's actually part of the deal, that Mike Munchak is back in town. Because then I think the offensive line is back in business. I mean, all due respect to Pat Meyer, he ain't Mike Munchak. Not even close.
I don't even think the guy had a particularly good year this season.
I think Broderick Jones gave them a lift, but I think that was a lot due to Broderick Jones just being a very talented player.
Dan Moore didn't get better.
No. Sayamalu played well once he got going.
Sayamalu, I don't know how much better even Munchak is going to make Sayamalu. He kind of is what he is. He's a long-tenured veteran player who's very good at his job. And
well, here's where Munchak would give you.
You're probably going to need
advantage.
a new center. You're going to bring in a new right tackle, so you've got pieces of clay that need molded.
Poni, here's where that comes in. In Jeff's piece, which I just found very good, it was about moving Darnell Washington to right tackle, bulk him up. I think Mason Cole kept saying he's a cheeseburger a day away from being a tackle. So the suggestion was kick Dan Moore inside to play right guard, move James Daniels over to play center, where we thought from the Bears people that was his best position. Moore was actually thought of as a guy that might be better suited to be a guard anyway. Mm-hmm. Jones goes to left tackle, Sayamalu is your left guard, James Daniels is your center, Dan Moore is your right guard. Then maybe, whether it's Washington or you actually draft one, you got a lot of moving parts. What do you need when you have a lot of moving parts? Guys playing positions they haven't maybe played in the NFL in a couple of years, but are capable of playing? Great coaching. So if you're going to do something like that and address other areas of your team, then yes, bringing in Mike Munchak is a strategic advantage.